So I grew up in California, and I graduated with a PhD in political science from UCLA in 1975. And so I kind of thought, now what? And I had some friends who were working in Washington, and so I thought, well, I'll come out to Washington and give it a try. Like most Californians, thought I'd be here for a few years, and now it's more than 30 years later. I worked for a range of people. I worked for Senator Howard Metzenbaum, and I worked in the State Department for a year back in the Jimmy Carter days, and got to go inside the White House and got to go to some briefings. The very first time I was sitting in the Senate as a staffer, I sat down and I looked all around the Senate chamber, and it just struck me of all the great men and women who had been there throughout our history, and that made me feel like I'd had some part in history. I did policy studies until about 1984, and then I realized then what I really liked was the writing speeches. More proof that you can always make second choices. I began to become more of a writer and editor. A good speech is not just a spoken white paper. A really good speech captures the character of the person who's giving it. They have to be dramatic. The best ones are dramatic, I would say. I think like most writers of any stripe, I'd had a notion to want to do my own kind of creative writing. And I had a friend who I'd known in grad school who had been gradually making his way up the Hollywood food chain as a screenwriter, and he'd always said to me, hey, if you got any good ideas, let me know. And about 12 years ago, a magazine came across my desk, and in it was a 3-page article about an African-American college, a tiny African-American college in the 1930s called Wiley College, that had turned out championship debate team, and Wiley was one of the first, if not the first, in that segregated era to debate white colleges, and they beat everybody. And I thought, wow, this has got a lot. It's got David and Goliath, it's got America's great issue, the race issue. And then I read further, and I found out that James Farmer Jr. had been on the team, and he'd always been a kind of a hero of mine. And when I realized he was on the team, I knew I wanted to do something with his story. So I got in touch with my friend Bob, and unlike some of my previous ideas, on this one he said, yeah, it sounds interesting. Let's do more research and find out more about it. And we pitched it to Oprah Winfrey's company, and they bought the idea and hired Bob to do the script. And I like to say the rest is history, but it actually was launching of a decade-long up and down struggle. In Hollywood, there are thousands of people who can say no to a project and only a very few who can say yes. And it was only about 2 years ago when Denzel Washington learned of the project, and he made it happen. I've had a very limited quotient of glamour. Close as I came, as I did hear Denzel's message that he left with my friend Bob's answering machine. So that's about the closest I've come to that kind of glamour. The great thing about The Great Debaters is it gave me a bit of an entree. I mean, before The Great Debaters, I was just some guy in D.C. with some ideas. And now I'm some guy in D.C. whose ideas have actually helped lead to a movie. My name is Jeff Porro, and I live in Arlington.